What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk to you guys about Invincible. For most of you guys, I don't have to explain what Invincible is. It's a show based on a comic book series that recently saw a resurgence, but on TV. After finally catching up with Invincible and seeing the direction that Invincible goes in the first place, it kind of does make sense. It's even further away than you would think from the darker side of something like DC Comics, though I do see more of a resemblance to DC Comics than I do anything else when I look at Invincible. Today on stream, I was actually talking with a good friend of mine, and it reminds me of something else. The over-the-top action, humanizing the characters, even when they're clearly, by all sense of the word, they're pretty much gods. It's more interesting to me because it actually reminds me of anime. When you look at American animation, and the way that American animation story tells, you think of things like the Looney Tunes. You think of things like Disney. Anime has a certain feel to it. Anime isn't afraid to touch up on certain subjects. That's the reason why anime is so popular, because I know for a lot of you guys out there, and I've met so many people that just can't get into anime, which is, to me, is weird, because they'll watch things like reality TV, but they won't watch anime. You'll watch Jersey Shore, but you won't watch anime. I can't wrap my head around that, but to each their own. But one thing about anime is that they are not afraid to touch up on anything. They are not afraid to kill off little kids. They are not afraid to just straight up murder an entire town. Destruction, wanton destruction, absolutely everywhere. And that is what I see when I watch Invincible. When I see Invincible, they're humanizing these gods and then giving them grounded reasons to fight. Spoiler warnings ahead. If you don't want any spoilers, you haven't seen it yet, do not go ahead. You've been warned. One of the things that first caught me off guard, having not read the comics or been familiar with what Invincible was when Omniman murdered his friends, or the people who thought that Omniman was his friend. And it wasn't just that he killed him, it's the way that he killed him. It was brutal, unyielding, and in that intense moment, I know a lot of people just sat back and said, what the fuck? And in that what the fuck moment lies exactly why I love Invincible so far. I want more of that. I want some more what the fuck moments. Those moments where they remind the audience that the people around these superheroes are just that. People. No plot armor. Anybody can die at any moment. Because in regular comics, just taking a look at DC and Marvel comics, yes, there are some characters that are inherently very violent, some comics that are inherently very violent, but for the most part, they really stray away from that super intense violence unless they're talking about someone in particular. So, for example, in Deadpool comics, you're going to get over-the-top violence. In the Punisher comics, you're going to get over-the-top violence. Lobo comics from DC, you're going to get over-the-top violence. But those are in those sections specifically. Invincible encompasses the entire Invincible universe. I wish more comics would take this kind of route. What you get in comics a lot of the time is a lot of cop-outs and retcons where characters that are dead come back and nobody stays dead, and I don't ever want to see that for this. If someone is gone, I want them to be gone for good. Ain't no Dragon Balls out in the Invincible universe. That is part of why I like it, because the things you see on the screen have consequences. There's no action without impunity, unless maybe you're Omni-Man, in which case you do whatever the hell you want. But there's no impunity for other characters. These things in the Invincible universe have consequences. When there's no consequences for actions, when people are just doing things just to do them in comics and in shows, it lowers all the stakes. And without stakes, for me at least, there's no interest. stakes make the storyline matter. That being said, I am looking forward to everything Invincible has to offer. I have done my best to try not to spoil it for myself, but even if you do end up spoiling it for yourself, just know that apparently the directors are going to take some liberties. They're going to change some stuff up from the comics to the show, and I get it, even though Mark's girlfriend was absolutely insufferable. I don't care what you got to say about her. It didn't make sense the way they wrote her. I didn't like that at all. But otherwise, a very fun show to watch. Something you can watch with the kids. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you peeps why I've been enjoying the Invincible show and the Invincible comics. Keep your eyes out for videos on the daily. Make sure you turn on your notifications and hit that bell. And if you like this video, make sure you do that. Make sure you hit it with a like. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.